Okay, this is very serious. Donald Trump is just making stuff up about the raid that led to the death by suicide of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Donald Trump has told a whole bunch of different lies about it, specific ones, general lies like lie by implication, where Donald Trump was golfing at the time of the raid, but later staged a picture in the Situation Room about 95 minutes later to make it seem as though he was there squinting in the way that I really only have seen Donald Trump do. Which I think he thinks makes him look strong. There have been all sorts of different lies and deceptions. But Donald Trump also, aside from barely being able to pronounce Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi's name during that post-raid speech that he gave, he said some things that are leaving Trump administration officials wondering, where the hell did Donald Trump get that? Let's take a look at the video.
Last night, the United States brought the world's #1 terrorist leader to justice. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead. No personnel were lost in the operation, while a large number of Baghdadi's fighters and companions were killed with him. He died after running into a dead-end tunnel, whimpering and crying and screaming all the way. The compound had been cleared by this time, with people either surrendering or being shot and killed. 11 young children were moved out of the house and are uninjured. The only ones remaining were Baghdadi in the tunnel, and he had dragged 3 of his young children with him. They were led to certain death. He reached the end of the tunnel as our dogs chased him down. He ignited his vest, killing himself and the 3 children. His body was mutilated by the blast. The tunnel had caved in on it in addition. But test results gave certain, immediate, and totally positive identification. It was him.
There's a lot there that Trump administration officials have no idea where Trump got it. Donald Trump says that Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi died whimpering, crying, and screaming. Donald Trump was not given audio of the incident. We now know that Donald Trump had overhead surveillance footage without audio. How does he know that al-Baghdadi was whimpering, crying, and screaming, despite the fact that Trump had no audio and it allegedly took place in a tunnel and Trump had overhead video? Well, the answer is he doesn't know that. It's a lie. It is just a straight up bold-faced lie. And immediately when Donald Trump said this, staffers started messaging each other asking, where did Donald Trump get this about whimpering, crying, and screaming? Nobody knew. So then Donald Trump was asked about it, and he just insisted he's telling the truth. But these are lies. Donald Trump saying he doesn't want to talk about it, but then repeats the exact same lies.
On your video hookup, mentioned the whimpering of Baghdadi.
I don't want to talk about it, okay. But he was screaming, crying, and whimpering. And he was scared out of his mind. And think of James Foley, think of Kayla, think of the things he did to Kayla, what he did to Foley and so many others. And for those people that say, oh, isn't this a little violent? Think of how many times have you seen men, I think in all cases men for the most part, but in terms of this, where you see the orange suits.
You don't want to talk about it, but then you repeat the same lies. Then Donald Trump goes off into other tangents after repeating the same lie to sort of try to change the subject. This is a reality of Donald Trump's own construction that exists only in the mind of Donald Trump. Reporters went to the Pentagon to try to confirm some of this. The Pentagon said, we don't have those details, and they shut their mouths. The next day, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff said, I don't have that information. Maybe Donald Trump has other information. Check it out.
President Trump described yesterday Baghdadi whimpering and crying before he died. Can you elaborate or confirm those details?
Secretary was asked the same question yesterday. I know the president had planned to talk down to the unit and unit members, but I don't know what the source of that was there, but I assume it was talking directly to unit and unit members.
Yep, I have no idea where Donald Trump got that, but I don't know. I guess he must have talked to someone. So it's really important that we on the left take a rational, balanced approach on this issue. ISIS is horrible. They are terrorists. Losing their leader hurts ISIS to some degree. That's good. This was not a good person. The world is better off with this person not alive. And to some degree, even if temporarily, it damages ISIS. Now, that being said, Donald Trump is, number one, overstating his role in this entire thing. Number two, was golfing at the time, but later staged a picture of himself in the Situation Room. That is a form of lying. Number three, Trump is overstating the importance of killing one leader when you really aren't doing anything to root out the ideology that inspires the terrorists. And in fact, you may further inspire more people to become radicalized merely by killing someone putatively or ostensibly known as the leader of the organization. And number four, we learned that he's also lying about details, like claiming that Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was whimpering, crying, and screaming, something that Donald Trump couldn't have possibly known, and that no one is willing to corroborate. This is not how we should be operating. Even mixed in with the accomplishments that are implicit in taking out the leader of such a terrible terrorist organization, the way that this is being handled is riddled with embarrassment the world over. Even Trump's own staffers are saying, yeah, we don't know where he's coming up with this stuff. It is yet another one of these horrible, toxic embarrassments. And there was a very interesting video done yesterday that compared and contrasted the way Barack Obama handled the killing of Osama bin Laden compared with how Donald Trump has handled the death by suicide of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. And it's not about, every president does things, and particularly in foreign policy, that progressives would be against. That's no different with Barack Obama, the drone policy. We've got a long list of stuff. But after being desensitized to Trump for almost 3 years now, to go back and see how a normal person handled the killing of a terrorist and to compare it to Trump, it's stunning how far we've fallen. And it's to call it anything other than depressing seems to be sort of missing the most prominent feeling that I'm experiencing when I see this stuff.